Hey guys, Level Cap here, and welcome to This Week in Gaming, your weekly news recap on everything going on in the world of video games. This week, Bungie has been caught using stolen artwork in Marathon, and a significant amount of it. Star Citizen released their biggest flyable spaceship to date, along with a new, very aggressive monetization system, which is getting them nothing but bad press. Remasters of the original STALKER games were revealed, and much more. An artist that goes by the name of Anti-Real or Antirial revealed Bungie had stolen her artwork from Marathon's in-game assets and marketing. She posted several examples of her work from as far back as 2017, side by side with official Marathon art, showing exact copies of her designs. This includes the artist's logo and clear copycatting of her overall design language. To make matters worse, current Bungie employees, including Marathon's art director Joseph Cross, follows Anti-Real on social media. After the story got international attention from major media outlets like the Washington Post, Bungie responded today. They say the plagiarism was the work of a former employee and that they'll be reaching out to compensate the actual artist. They go on to say that they'll be implementing more thorough review processes, specifically of work by former employees, to ensure this doesn't happen again. That said, this is not the only hot water Bungie finds themselves in. They're currently being sued by a writer who claims the company cribbed his work for Destiny 2's original storyline, The Red War. They were also caught in what appears to be a similar situation, lifting artwork from another online artist for Destiny 2's Nerf Ace of Spades collaboration. In another instance, artwork that had been submitted to Bungie's community website was mistakenly used by a third-party vendor in an official cutscene. And while the terms of service for submitting artwork on the website make it clear that the artist is giving Bungie the right to use it however they want, the studio still had to apologize and compensate the artist for it. This is becoming a growing problem for many artists and larger companies. Artists are not getting paid or even credited for their work ending up in major video game productions, and companies seem to be unable to police their employees from stealing that artwork. Bungie is far from the first company caught doing this, and I'm sure they won't be the last. Considering how effective websites like YouTube have become at recognizing copied video and audio, perhaps the industry will be able to create a similar system that can scan the internet for copycat artwork out there, or the original artwork potentially that employees may be lifting. I think something like this would be very helpful to both studios and artists. Star Citizen is showing up in many headlines and many websites for not the right reasons concerning their monetization practices. This time it's over ship blades, a component that you can add onto your spaceship that'll boost its stats like maneuverability or speed, and it's supposed to be balanced out with some negative impacts that affect other areas. The idea is that these components will let players tune their ships more to their liking. The problem is, ship blades are currently exclusive in the game's real money pledge store. In 3 months, they'll be launched into the game as an item that players can acquire through gameplay, but for the here and now, this is being seen as very much a pay-to-win mechanic that is being thrown behind a paywall, at least for a 3-month exclusivity. And while CIG has basically developed a reputation for very expensive and potentially aggressive monetization practices with their game, since it is 100% crowd-funded, the community is desperately trying to cling on to any semblance of Star Citizen not being a pay-to-win experience, and this one is definitely being seen as a step too far. Now, as a Star Citizen fanboy myself, this is extra disappointing because the event, CIG actually launched their biggest flyable spaceship to date, the Idris. This thing is a technological marvel. It's a flying city, it's a behemoth, it's got a beam weapon railgun, all kinds of cool stuff, an internal hangar bay that you can land ships on and fly through the ship itself. It's very cool, and I wish we could have focused more of the Star Citizen news on this technical accomplishment versus an aggressive monetization practice. The original STALKER games are getting the official remaster treatment. STALKER Legends of the Zone Trilogy Enhanced Edition will be released as a free upgrade for owners of the existing games and as a standalone purchase on PC and consoles. It promises improved graphics for all 3 games, full controller support, and most notably, major bug fixes. What complicates things is that the modding scene for the classic STALKER games is already massive, and mods like Gamma or Anomaly already do a lot of of what this remaster does, if not go way further and beyond. That said, a more stable foundation to build mods on top of is certainly welcome, plus it will be available to console players as well, which is awesome. The remasters launch on the 20th. PlayStation 5 exclusive Stellar Blade is releasing for PC on June 11th, or at least that's what the developers were planning. Apparently, the release has been blocked in roughly 130 countries on Steam and the Epic Games Store. It's likely this has something to do with the game's optional PSN account login system. Players can log in with their PSN account to unlock an exclusive skin. With PlayStation Network not supported in many areas around the world, it would explain the sudden block. The developers themselves are confused why the game is being blocked from sale and are looking into it. The PC version will be launched alongside a major update for the PlayStation 5 version with new outfits and content. The PC version will also feature DLSS 4 upscaling and frame generation, as well as AMD's FSR 3. Fortnite's future on the iOS App Store is looking more uncertain. Apple was recently delivered a massive blow in court by a judge who held them in contempt for failing to comply with previous court orders. The orders demanded Apple allow third-party transactions and services in games and apps that are sold on the iOS store. This is obviously a huge issue because Apple currently takes a 27% cut from all in-app revenue. From the base game sale to any microtransactions, they rake it in. Their appeal is currently pending, but in the meantime, it seems that they're denying Fortnite from returning in the US. Fortnite has been available in the EU since August of last year due to EU regulations requiring third-party payment options on digital storefronts. But now it seems like Apple are stalling and not approving Epic's updates for the game in EU, in addition to continuing to block the game in the US. Epic says they've had to take their game's mobile version offline globally since content and feature updates aren't being approved by Apple. EA are ending their full-time remote work and hiring exceptions, demanding all employees return to the office over the next 12 weeks. This applies to all employees who currently reside within 30 miles of an EA office. Employees that live outside that radius or are currently considered exempt from working in office will be considered remote for now, unless their role is designated as on-site or hybrid. Employees speaking anonymously with media outlets say they are concerned this will lead to a lot more layoffs as remote workers are quietly laid off under the new stipulations. In the past year alone, EA have laid off over 1,000 employees globally. Tightening the exemptions that have afforded many employees the ability to work remotely will likely end up leading to people being laid off or having to find new jobs closer to their homes. There's also an entire demographic of elite game developer now who is used to working from their home who won't want to go back to an in-office job, which may limit EA's ability to hire talented employees. Alright, how about for some more uplifting news? The first Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 DLC is here. Titled Brushes with Death, it adds a new NPC, an artist named Master Voita, who has his own quest line. He's a starving artist that recruits you to help him create a masterwork, but like many characters in the game, his status and backstory aren't as clear-cut as they seem. Helping Master Voita out will give you the ability to customize your shields with a bunch of new cosmetic options, including entirely custom designs. The DLC is priced at $6. In classic Hideo Kojima fashion, the enigmatic game director says he has a USB drive full of ideas for future games that will be left for his staff to use when he dies. Apparently, a health scare during the COVID-19 pandemic inspired Kojima to take his mortality more seriously. The USB drive with his ideas is kind of like a will to Kojima. Considering his games seem to be perpetually concerned with his issues around cloning, propaganda, and the role of the individual among a system, it would be kind of hilarious if the new Kojima games were still launching years after his death, which for the record I hope is not anytime soon. And that wraps it up for today's episode of This Week in Gaming. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop me a like, subscribe for more news content like it, and up next check out this more deep dive video into the news surrounding the next Battlefield game. There's some pretty cool updates that you don't want to miss. As always guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap signing off.